I mean, they're just balanced top to bottom, extremely well coached. I've known Coach Maisie a long time. They're here for a reason. And, you know, when you've coached a long time and you've been blessed to be in these games, the common factor is everybody's good. Everybody's usually has an elite player or two, and they're balanced offensively, and they're pretty deep on the mound. So that's, you know, really, they're just a good balanced club.
Do you have any specific way about dealing with Derek Clark? Any specific approach? You're going to give your hitters complete game last week, and it only took them 101 pitches to do it.
Yeah, you know, the ACC prepares you for anything. We feel like we faced pretty much every type of pitcher. That's the great thing about playing in a league like ours. So, I mean, we'll have an approach for sure, and we will use that approach, and we'll just sometimes you have to change the approach in the middle of the game. But what I tell our guys this time of year, you're more important than what you're getting ready to face. Go in there and be confident, keep your rhythm, and, you know, we're going to be on the attack like we always are. You know, he's going to be on the attack. He's good. But we've faced a lot of really good arms throughout the whole season.
What's your pitching plan?
Tomorrow?
For the whole series?
Are they throwing Clark tomorrow?
What is your...
Do we know who they're throwing?
Clark.
They are throwing Clark? Okay, we're throwing Sprague. That's our plan.
Was that dependent on?
No, just...
Oh, okay, all right, I got you. Might have withheld a little bit, I got you. Scott, on Clark, how is he able to do what he does and not let his size be a detriment? Yeah, you know... From what you've seen.
Yeah, he's got a quick arm. He hides the ball. He's got some deception. He can throw 3 pitches for strikes, and he can throw the ball where he wants to. His fastball's got a little ride to it, as they say now, but it's got that late life. He can go up in the zone when he needs to. He's ultra competitive. He's very athletic. So, you know, 3 pitches for strikes. It doesn't matter if you're 6'6", if you're 5'8", 5'7". You're going to have a chance to be good and keep hitters off balance.
Coach, you go through that monumental game on Monday, and obviously, you know, just a few days ago. How do you handle going from that moment to this moment? You know, with the worries of, you know, emotions and letdowns or things like that.
Yeah, we have a 24-hour rule. You know, tell our guys, like, enjoy it for 24 hours. It's gone when you wake up. And we've stuck with that, and they've bought into that. And it was an emotional game, too. So, honestly, when I went to bed really late Monday night or Tuesday morning, I thought, okay, we'll probably play Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because that's how it works. But then right before I started dozing off, I was like, nah, that'd be too easy for this team. And this team, they don't know what easy is. So we'll probably go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I started mapping that out in my mind. But I think it's good for these guys. This time of year, they want to play.
Right.
They want to play games. And again, that's the great thing about playing in our league, you know, and you have to play Wake Forest in that game that decides who goes to the next round in front of 9,000 plus. You have to be able to have that 24-hour rule either way. You know, I tell our guys, if we lose, you got to get over it in 24 hours. If we win, you got to get over it in 24 hours.
Do you think you appreciate it more, Coach, the fact that you're here because how close it was?
I tell you what, I appreciate it more every year. You know, you're supposed to mature more the older you get. And we talk about wisdom all the time. You know, I really don't think I understood when I first got back here how hard winning is. And now in college baseball, the challenges, just like every other sport, the transfer portal, consistently having a chance to be in the postseason, compete for a championship, it's hard. And to host a regional, to win a regional, and to have a chance to play in a super regional, I appreciate it, to answer your question, now more than I ever have.
You've obviously been to this level before. West Virginia's making their first trip in school history. There was a time when you guys were making your, you know, what were the obstacles you had to overcome?
I can't tell you those. You know, I talked to our team about it. I think that's a little bit overplayed. You know, the first time is the first time. You don't forget that. But at the end of the day, you know, every team is different, and you have to coach that team based on what you have. And, you know, anytime, I'm sure for them, they have obstacles, we have obstacles. But this type of year, as a coach, you really don't have the obstacle of having to, like, worry about your guys being ready. It's not like you're in the middle of the season. Everybody knows what's on the line. everybody's going to play as hard as they can. And, I think both teams at this point in the season, the biggest obstacle is just being able to control your emotions.
With Weatherholt for West Virginia, in terms of how to approach him, I mean, obviously he had a big year last year, and then he's dealt with injuries this year, so he's just maybe just now kind of getting back. When you look at how to approach him, is it what he's doing now, or hey, he did this last year, so maybe we gotta, or is there maybe some kind of line in between on that?
Yeah, you definitely approach them. You have guys like that in our league, Nick Kurtz, and you name them. Every team's usually got a guy like that, and you have a plan. It depends on how many of those guys they have, which depends on what your plan is going to be against him. But he's a heck of a player, a really balanced hitter. So, we'll have to have that plan and stick with that plan for sure.
Was the decision to start Shea just a product of wanting to give Jason an extra day of rest since he played Monday?
Yep.
Coach, I'm sure you saw the TV viewership numbers for Monday's game, nearly 1 million people breaking the record for ESPN. I mean, how excited are you about just the upward mobility of college baseball just as a television product?
I mean, it's awesome. I grew up obviously loving sports, and I loved at the time the big three, football, basketball, and baseball, and loved watching baseball, loved watching football, loved watching basketball. But college baseball, just in front of my own eyes, to see its growth has been unbelievable, and to see the growth here has been unbelievable. And again, though, that's a lot of that is having good kids that fans want to come see. But to see the viewership was, I didn't know. I got a bunch of texts from family members that said, man, y'all were breaking records. I was like, well, I don't think we broke any record yet. But then I read the tweet and I thought, wow, that's phenomenal for college baseball. And I think it's going to continue to grow. It's an awesome sport. It's one of the bigger events if you are fortunate enough to make it to the College World Series. So I thought that was cool.
Scott, the decision to start Spray, I know it's made with confidence, not just because of the pitches DeCaro threw, but because of his makeup, starting against Burns in the ACC tournament, starting against Holman last weekend. What is it about Shea that does give you the confidence, like, hey, we'll roll him out there first?
Yeah, just not afraid of the big moment at all. Competitive. We feel like we've had two guys that have been equal, so it really didn't matter which one pitched first. I'm excited for him. He matched them. He threw really good against Holman. Kept us right there, so he deserves the opportunity, and he's going to be ready for sure. So, once we decided to use DeCaro, it was an easy decision.
You got many more ticket requests that the university did than you had seats. And there's some Ramsville folks who won't have seats. And I know there's logistical challenges, but would you be in favor of adding bleachers beyond that outfield wall or something like that to make it the capacity larger?
Yeah, we can just add a $20 million renovation. That would be phenomenal. But yeah, I think, I don't know. We're going to find it. Yeah, of course. I think that's really, really cool too. Dave told me about that, and again, that's what we need here at North Carolina, and that's why you work so hard to be in this position. To be able to host and have a chance. Being a national seed's hard too, but you do know if you can find a way to win that regional, that you're going to host again.
How important do you think it is to get some length out of your starters this week, especially when last week, they weren't able to get 5?
Yeah, you always want length. But again, 3 days for a reliever. I know Dalton Quote threw a lot, but he also had a day in between when he threw. So those guys, if they had 4 days, I'd be a little bit worried about them, honestly. Those relievers, those 3 days is about perfect for them. So when you get down to this, it is important. But it's a bonus when you have a bullpen like ours and you have 4 or 5 guys down there that you're really confident in. That third time through the order, the stats are the stats, and you have to go with your gut as far as the starting pitcher, how he's looking, because those bullpen guys, just numbers-wise, the numbers are better.
With the rise of synergy and the amount of data that you have access to now, is it a little bit easier for you to prepare for a team and a program that you probably just have a passing acquaintance to?
It's way easier. I give our coaches the hardest time because I remember sitting in the old ESPN and taking that little red, thing and going back and trying to slow it down, and it took 3 hours to do one game. Now you can watch one player's at bats in 15 minutes and feel pretty good about them. But again, the most important thing is how we play. But it is easier because there's more out there. I went home last night and went to our bonus room and typed in West Virginia on the ESPN app, and I watched a game against Dallas Baptist, and I watched a game against, I think it was TCU. So you can watch them a lot quicker, that's for sure.
Even with TrackMan and everything else that's really fine-grained detail, do you still pick up things from just watching a game?
Yeah, that's where we break it up among our staff, and I like to watch games just to see how they play, see what they do in first and third situation. I mean, you can pull that stuff up on True Media and Synergy as well, but when you watch a game, it's like being there in person. You can pick up on some different things, the emotions that certain players have. So I'm old school in that standpoint. I'll watch one more 9-inning game tonight because it really kind of just relaxes me. So I just got to figure out which one should I watch. You think West Virginia was Penn State? They beat them bad though, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that one.
We have time for just a couple more.
Scott, when you're 2 wins away from Omaha, do you take that out of the message because you're so close, or do you, I don't know, reinforce it more? How does the factor that you're right here where you can almost taste it affect just what you're telling these guys?
We actually talked about that, on Tuesday when we met. And I asked the guys, what was our goal in our first team meeting? Connor Bover was sitting right there, and he said to win a national championship. I said, okay, so our goal is not to get to Omaha for a vacation or a party. Our goal is to win a national championship. We got that out of the way at our first meeting, and then we just started talking about more than ever this year, okay, let's don't talk about that. Let's talk about how we're going to do that, and do that every single day. Again, is it the process? Yes. Is it the same thing that some other coaches do, especially Coach Saban? Yes. But I believe it works, and our players believe it works. So I just said, hey, everybody knows what's at stake, but we got Tuesday. We need to concentrate on Tuesday. Then we'll have Wednesday, then we'll have Thursday, and then same thing. That really helps our team. We talk about 27 outs, focus on playing every individual pitch instead of looking at that scoreboard or thinking about the results and that type of thing.
I noticed you didn't dogpile on Monday. Is that a decision the team made that you don't want to dogpile unless you win the Super Regionals, or are you worried about injuries? Or what's the dynamic there?
We really didn't talk about it. I don't remember dogpiling even in 06 when we won the regional here. We might have dogpiled against Florida Atlantic that time because we didn't know what else to do, or probably in regionals. Yeah, I remind the players. The only thing I say is like, hey, whatever it is, nobody needs to get hurt because we know what our ultimate goal is. And I never forget. Florida State had a pitcher. I don't remember what his name was. Maybe Blair Varn. I don't remember what his name was, but he dogpiled towards ACL right before they went to Omaha. So I've always been paranoid about that. Like, okay, let's celebrate, but try to. And I've been on the bottom of one of those when I was a catcher at North Carolina Westland. I couldn't breathe for 3 minutes, so I had to remind the guys of that.
How similar is the preparation leading up to a super regional compared to like just a regular weekend series kind of in the regular season?
It's a great question because it's the exact same because you play weekend series the whole year. It's way better than preparing for a regional. The longer I coach, I think the regionals are the hardest thing to win because you got 3 opponents. You don't know for sure who you're playing the second day. You do all this prep, and then you don't play one of them. So it's the same. We approach it the exact same way. We're trying to win this series. We'll manage it that way. And because at the end of the day, if you win the series, you win the Super. Thank y'all.